NATO Genel Sekreter Yardımcısı, Hibrit tehditler nelerdir? Gençlik Zirvesi 2025'te NATO'nun hibrit tehditlere yanıtını tartışmaya katılın.
So, I would like to give the floor to our audience, and if you have any questions, please raise your hand so that we can send a microphone to you. Yeah, here we go. Let's start.
Hello. Sorry.
Sorry.
Hello. I'm from Georgia, and it's really politically, tense situation in my country. I want to thank all of you for organizing this event. It really means a lot to engage youth policymakers into all the democracy and what we all stand for. I have a question, since you mentioned about the hybrid threats. Hybrid warfare, including cyber attacks, disinformation, campaigns, and political interference, has become a key part of modern politics. As we've seen in Georgia and in Ukraine and in Montenegro too, given the increasing frequency and sophistication of these threats, what is NATO doing to strengthen cyber resilience, but also not only within the members of NATO, but also in the partners, and like Georgia. And how does the alliance plan to deter or respond to the hybrid threats that fall below the threshold of traditional military aggression? Thank you.
Maybe we can thank you so much for your question. Let's get two more and let our DSG to answer this. And gentlemen in the front, please, you stood up already. And
yeah, you need the mic.
Yes.
Okay, hello everybody, my name is Joseph, and I'm also happy to be here at this conference. It's my first time here, and when I look around me, I already met one of really amazing young people who are really inspired to be leaders of the future. And now with the political steam happening more frequently, and it's accelerating the day we go, I think it's really important to actually tell people more about politics, what's happening in another country. For example, I'm from Slovakia, and every day we are hearing about the lost life of Ukrainian soldiers and many also other soldiers. They're one of the bravest people in the world. They're protecting democracy right at the door to Russia. So we should not really ignore this. And now in the modern times, when somebody asks you a question about war, how would you think a war is waging? Like, what does the war look like? They will imagine World War I, the trenches, maybe the bombardment tactics of World War II, the Blitz and everything. But now in this modern age, I think the misinformation warfare or the psychological warfare is one of the greatest strengths of Russia. That's why I wanted to ask, what's the NATO standpoint on this topic? How can we ensure that not only we are not losing the lives on the front, but also the right and healthy mindsets within our country? Right now we can see a really big political presence about movement of leave NATO, Slovakia should leave NATO and Europe. And me personally, when I see one of my fellow friends even saying that the NATO is bad, I just don't know what to say. And sometimes one voice is not enough. I can tell, I can ask them a question, compare, but sometimes you need a bigger authority to set the motion of this forward thinking. So my question once again is, what's the NATO standpoint on this topic? Thank you very much.
Thank you. And before we conclude the third and last question of this round, thank you. It was a great question. But in order to expand our chance and time with Ms. Deputy Secretary General, let's try to keep the questions a bit short and brief. So I'd really appreciate it. And please, yes, please.
Hello again.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. Glad to be here. So my question is, for example, my country now is, for 2 months, they cannot form a government. So my question is, can you tell us some some uncommon security threats that are not just the ones we Googled when it comes to security? Maybe some things that kind of are linked to security but sometimes we miss those points. For example, that might be one of them. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll, I think, depend on time, we'll get the second round, but very challenging questions, right?
Yes, they are, and I actually liked hearing more from you. So I know that we are a bit short with time, but I really appreciate also your thoughts, not just the questions. And let me start with a bit with Ukraine, and thank you for raising this up. I do believe that what happens in Ukraine will affect our security as a whole. And the solidarity that was provided, the support that was provided by a huge number of allies was the difference between, leaving Ukraine without any assistance alone and supporting it. And it was really remarkable to see that this year allies have actually exceeded even some of their pledges by providing military assistance beyond the 20 billion that was announced. And this is a remarkable signal that we are serious. And all of the allies have made it clear that their support to Ukraine is not something that they envisage for just this year, the first 3 months, the 6 months. It is long term. And by doing this, we are developing and supporting the Ukrainian defense forces, but we are clearly also creating an additional deterrence and defense for our alliance as well. And of course, the alliance is as good as it is adaptable, and you said this initially. You could say that the war in the trenches is the war of the past. Actually, what we have seen in Ukraine is that war comes in all forms, and you have to be prepared for everything. You have to be prepared for the trenches, but you have to be really prepared for the drones. You have to be prepared for the different hybrid attacks. We have seen a lot of sabotage throughout the alliance. We have seen attacks to critical infrastructure, especially undersea infrastructure in the north, in the Baltic Sea. And our strength is the adaptability, our strength is unity, our strength is the solidarity among us. So, for example, when I think Montenegro was the first country who actually got the support from the hybrid support team from NATO when they dealt with the attack. And we have offered, and several allies have already seized it. But of course, on hybrid and in supporting partners, there is always more you can do because technology is changing, because our vulnerabilities are changing. And this is actually where the knowledge of younger generation comes as extremely important. Because, the things that we consider to be very complicated for you, they're a piece of cake. And we have seen really a drive among a younger generation of people who have done technology to move into the security field, to develop capacities, to develop new defenses. And this is what we appreciate very much. You never plan a career either in politics and sometimes not even in security. I did engineering when I was young, and I did only 2 years of engineering in my career. But once you develop this knowledge of problem solving, building networks, power, it is helpful in politics. So I advise all of you who are very enthusiastic about technology, security is a domain that will be booming. There will be huge investments, enormous opportunities, and we want the best and brightest there. And by doing this, we will be able to support allies and partners even more. You're absolutely right. Quite a number of our partnerships with different countries, including Georgia, contain the element of supporting counter-hybrid activities. And we will continue to do so. But of course, a partnership depends on both sides. So, we are ready. And the countries with which we conclude partnership agreements, they need to be ready and interested. And this brings me to the third and probably most complicated question, but it's a bit connected to us generally as societies. Maybe my political background is still stronger than my defense background. I do believe that we have to look deep within our societies and really discuss and think about our vulnerabilities. I come from a very diverse country in many respects, ethnically, linguistically, religiously. These are not easy countries. And they always have additional challenges. But unless you do the work internally yourself, there is no magic solution. And here I might say no external support can help you deal if you are not prepared to invest in a more cohesive, a more resilient, and a more open community. So I would say look at your own vulnerabilities and try to solve the problems, because putting problems under the carpet usually ends up with a big boom in front of your face. So avoid this. On everything else, as an alliance, we can provide the capabilities, we can provide the support, but each and every ally is much more efficient in dealing with some of their own specifics, and we follow the lead of the allies. So I count on all of you to help us with this.
Again, as you said, Article 4 is before Article 5.
Yeah. On the threshold, there are a lot of discussions. Thank you for reminding me about this. There are various ways in which a hybrid attack can really undermine your capacity to deter and defend. And we have also approached this problem with a more creative, I mean, like the decision to move on with Baltic Sentry after a series of sabotage to undersea critical infrastructure was a serious signal that the alliance will not stand still, and we will not just observe, but we will react, we will act, and we will protect our allies. And this is what makes the alliance strong. This is what makes it relevant. This is what makes it important.